Welcome back. This is World Inside. I'm Tian Wei. Our special program, Alaska Calling, on the Anchorage meeting between China and the United States. The meeting saw top diplomats from the two largest economies face off. Although frosty at times, there are topics where the delegates saw eye to eye. The political tension between China and the U.S. has tangible effects on the cultural attitudes toward China in the U.S. While Chinese are familiar with American pop culture, Americans are generally oblivious about China. So I'm so happy to be joined by both of them in Alaska, Paul Johnson and Christine Gato. What a pleasure. Good to see both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
Maybe we want to start by introducing yourself a little bit to our audience. So Christine, lady first.
Hello, my name is Kristen Gato. I'm 26 years old and I'm currently a student at Xi'an International Studies University.
So now you mainly stay in Anchorage because you cannot go back to China yet because of pandemic.
Yes. Well, I actually just started last fall at the Chinese university, so I haven't been to the campus in China yet.
Oh, wow. I hope you will have this chance and opportunity soon. What about for you, Professor Johnson? You want to say something about yourself too?
Sure. I'm a professor of economics at the University of Alaska at the Anchorage campus. I'm at the Anchorage campus. And I taught economics in Canada. I taught economics in Singapore. And I did a little bit of teaching in China. And I'm involved in the connection for the Chinese students and Chinese faculty sort of relationship between our campus and the campuses in China. So we have relationships with two universities in Changchun, and we've had faculty and students from there visit here. And I'm a very great believer in students spending at least some time, even just one semester in a different country.
Christine, many people would ask you, why would you go to a Chinese school at a time when, you know, it seems that the relationship is not at the highest level in history? Why did you make that choice?
So honestly, for me, although I am American, I grew up as a child moving around a lot because my dad was in the military and I've lived in several different countries. And I guess to me, there's a lot of gray area. Not everything is black and white. I feel like there's always hope for improvement. So I don't see like the grim side of going to a country that possibly the U.S. doesn't have the greatest relations with. I feel like there's hope and that things can always improve.
I love that. I love that attitude, by the way, my dear. Professor Johnson? Listening, Christine seems to be very sophisticated lady, young lady.
Well, she's very, how to put it, very adventurous and very thinking of the long run, sort of the future, I think. And especially for those younger students who are able to go to China, that's something that we sort of encourage because it's knowledge. It's and also, because Americans know much less about China than China knows about the United States, and that's an imbalance, which is a bad imbalance because there can be misunderstandings and wrong ideas, wrong decisions.
Right.
At least if the information side in the U.S. For knowledge of China is better and greater, there is probably much better chances to make the right decisions. And just language, just take language. We have had programs to teach China in the university, but and students will do them, but we need more. We need more because language also influences how people think.
What does it make people think about learning a new language? For example, learning Chinese in America.
There's always going to be a group of students like Kristen who are adventurous and willing to take a challenge, and that they'll go to China and they'll live there and they'll want to to perfect their Chinese, and there's always that group. But that's only a small share. So we really need to have more than like 1 or 2%. I mean, the imbalance is too great. There needs to be much more learning, and unfortunately, America, it's just a fact. Americans have not needed to learn foreign languages.
It's so hard to generalize a country, isn't it? But we see a lot of generalization of the other country. I mean, China about the United States, or United States about China, what it is and what the people are like, and why are they like this? Why aren't they like us? We heard a lot of generalization. Sometimes it helps, but a lot of time they really don't help to understand the real thing.
No, I definitely think that there's a lot of generalization, especially from the American side towards China. I know when I talk about learning Chinese or wanting to go to China, a lot of people say the same exact thing to me, like, oh, Chinese language is so hard. Oh, why do you want to go to China? Like, what's there that's not here in the U.S.? But I think that in both China and the U.S., I feel like a lot of people have not gone outside of themselves. I really think that, as Professor Johnson said, I feel like it's really important to go somewhere, to travel abroad and spend some time in another country. I feel like it really opens your mind up, and I feel like it really helps you to see more than just your own viewpoint that you have at home.
Yeah, that's so crucial, isn't it, Professor Johnson?
Yes, it is. It's part of being an educated person, I think. Like in Europe 200 years ago, if you were a young aristocrat, it was in the sort of a normal thing to go on the grand tour where you would go for a year around Europe.
Yeah.
And stay
in ancient
France,
China, there was something
Germany.
like that too. If you want to be a philosopher, you have to travel around the country and talk to everyone to sharpen the philosophy, as they say, Professor.
Yes. Yes, that's and there's no substitute for that. Books only get you so far.
You know, it seems that the diplomats are very much interested in rhetoric these days. But of course, many wonder whether that will get things done. I mean, just as someone who, as a professor, as a student of language and cultures, how do you look at rhetoric vis-a-vis real communications?
Well, diplomacy has its own language, right? Really. And you cannot, listen to it, and if you just interpret it like regular language, it might seem either too vague or too harsh, but they have their own game, they have their own understandings. So I'm not so worried. In fact, I'd almost be worried if they didn't do the way they're doing. That sounds very strange, because it's playing a game, and both sides, okay, here we're going to put down what we think is the most important things, and you put down the different things. And it's better that both sides come out at the beginning than say where they are, rather than pretend that, there's nothing really difficult going on.
But just that, between you and me, what do we want, as common folks, about our life, about our interaction with another country, with the rest of the world? It sounds like a big question, but actually it's not, because it's about our everyday life, isn't it?
Honestly, I don't know if I share the opinion of a lot of other American people, but truthfully, I hope that things warm up. I hope that we can have a good relationship with many countries, not just China. Honestly, I feel like the world could kind of benefit from more relation with each other and more empathy for each other.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if empathy is the word that I'm looking for, but I feel like more people in the world should try to understand things from other viewpoints and not just their own.
Well said. Takes a lot of efforts to do it.
Yeah.
Professor Johnson, yeah.
And I just hope we see more exchange of students. I mean,
Yes.
that's what I really would like to, because it's good for the countries involved. It's good for the students, and they need to be able to function and sort of prosper and survive, and that helps understanding. Just the exchange of students. Unfortunately, because of COVID, let's be clear, it's because of COVID. It's sort of damaged that, not because of anyone's fault.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a priority when we come out of COVID, so we can. I mean, we had agreements with the universities in China to bring more Chinese students to our campus, and vice versa and so forth, and it all just stopped because of the virus. So we hope coming out of the tunnel, and we want that on the agenda for the future.
I hope the talks will bring us more light at the end of the tunnel. And I do hope that many would be able to listen to our conversation today, to know what people are really thinking about, not politics, but their own lives and how to make it better with everybody else. And that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, search World Insight or check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei on behalf of the team. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.